Hey, this is Janie with Girl Get Up Again. This is our next episode. Today we're going to be talking on build it or buy it. Sis, we're going to teach you how to talk about building a home or going with a pre-owned home. So stay tuned. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Girl Get Up Again. And if you need to do it again and again and again like I did, it's okay. But today we're going to be talking about real estate. What do we do in real estate? Well, not only am I a real estate broker, but I brought one of my good friends that I've known for since 2015, Miss Barbara with DR Horton, and we're going to talk about buying a pre-owned home or building, the steps in building and what you need. So I've got a couple other guests. I have Kayla, who is a pretty new realtor.
Yes.
And then we have Jasenia, who has been in real estate about 3 years, and she's getting back into the groove, and she wants to know what you need to know to build a house. So, Miss Barbara, you and I have known each other. We met. Would you like to elaborate how we met?
Okay, so Miss Janie actually, so I work for D.O. Horton, right? So I depend on realtors to bring customers to me, right? And so Miss Janie actually brought a customer to my community, and we did the deal, and she just was such a awesome person handling her buyer, walking them through the process. Unlike sometimes we don't have that with realtors, but she really impressed me and impressed up on me because we just connected, and I have just been with her ever since. I just love her to death. I don't know what I'm gonna do without her.
I know. So you're not.
Okay,
It's just that
right,
simple. You're not going to do anything without me. But I think
Awesome.
one of the best things is when I met you, I was walking into my role as going to be the upcoming president for Women's Council of Realtors in 2017. So I was pretty much in a volunteer role training for that spot. And we met. You allowed us to do open houses, which we would come in with other realtors in the evening, and you got to meet through Women's Council. I think that was really important because you got to meet a lot of different realtors.
Yes.
And speaking of realtors, and that's how you do your business, it helped bring a different village. We talked about villages throughout the different episodes, but for me, we have villages of real estate and family and friends. And when you find who you click with in real estate, it's going to make a huge difference. Miss Barbara and I have built a authentic relationship. We can speak to one another, and I can tell her this is what I need. And I think sometimes having a mortgage background it's a good and bad when you deal with builders or other loan officers, but she's been very gracious to me, and I really appreciate that.
Well, having having that background as well helps us be able to make sure that the client is taken care of no matter what. So oftentimes there's something that I'm not thinking of. Miss Janie has gone through that, and she can think of it, and she'll say, well, Barbara, what about this? And I was like, okay, so we'll go back. We put our brains together. It is really a collaborative effort. I mean, it has to be in order to get that buyer to the closing table, make sure that buyer is taken care of, make sure that buyer is comfortable, and everything that goes in the middle. I always tell everybody, you got a train, you got a caboose, and you got a conductor, and you got cars in the middle. And so we all take a part in making sure that client is taken care of.
And our goal is to get them to the end.
Absolutely.
Our goal is always to get the client to the end. We talk about, do they want to build a house? Do they want a pre-existing home? You're gonna know if your client is a candidate for a new home, because they're gonna have all these questions. Oh, I don't want anyone else to have lived in it. They're gonna tell you all that. Okay, then we need to go this route. And the builder offers so many incentives. Well, one thing that she and I agree on is that there are realtors out there that just because they're a builder, they just hand off the client to her, the buyer, and your buyers are left wondering, well, what happened to my realtor? They're just here to collect a commission, and it's pretty sad, because we as realtors, that's how we make a living, and it's not their job to babysit our client. It's our job. It's our job. I always tell my buyers, I'm here to relieve the stress from you. She and I were on the phone last night with a buyer till about 9:30, almost. I think it was almost 10 o'clock. It was late. But this is what you do for your clients. We have to really be cognizant of their time, our time, but at the middle, these are buyers and they have needs, and we have to meet up with their time. Barbara has been so gracious in her time that she gives them. She'll explain that sometimes I'm like, man, girl, you got to just let them go already. Let's just go. Let's go. But we joke, because you have to have a sense of humor in this business.
Lord Jesus, you have to.
You have to. Mm-hmm. And we always have stories. We can sit there. But this is not just about a builder relationship with a realtor relationship. We've become friends, and we can talk. And I mean, we kind of know, we pray for one another. We pray together. We pray over properties.
Absolutely.
We prayed over land.
Absolutely.
And I do believe that when you step there and you pray over it with the buyer, that's their home, whether it's now or 6 months from now. Exactly. That is their home. And we've claimed it. We've claimed it. Right. You guys, you ladies, I don't know where you've been as far as working with builders, but Barbara, please correct me or add to it. You have to build a relationship. Everything is about relationships with the building consultant, because they're going to make that relationship so much easier with your buyers. Because there's times that I can call her and I say, my buyer's going, but I can't go right now. I'm out of town. She took care of a client for me when I was at the hospital with my mom, or I was sick. And I'll FaceTime her looking like, oh my God, but she's there. And she knows that when I say this is my client, she knows I'm going to take care of him. I will take care of him. I'll step in as soon as I'm available, but she's got me at that end. And we work well together. So finding that relationship is going to be imperative to your growth, to your business, And we laugh because D.R. Horton has different divisions. I'm finding out about the different divisions. But one of the things is because they reassigned everything. It used to not be that way until they reassigned it. But I have consultants in different areas that are in her division. And I'm like, well, I work with you. So now I have to let the other consultant know, you know what? This is who I'm working with. I've been working with her. Longevity is key to keeping that person. And when you find a buyer that wants to build, she's going to walk them. I'll let you explain the process.
So it just kind of depends with D.R. Horton. We call ourselves an inventory a builder. However, we do build homes from the beginning to the end. So, I may go to a community, which I'm in a community right now, where we don't have any homes and we're starting to build. So what we do is we'll take the buyer. If I don't have anything to walk them through, we do videos. I may take them to another community so that they can see. They have to touch and feel, because that's who we are as people, touch and feel what it is that we want. And then once we get that done, we have that done. We do the pre-application, get all that taken care of. So D.R. Horton has pretty much everything under its umbrella to be able to help that client from the beginning to the end. So when we start the process, and I always tell people, you're going to be with me until the time you walked in this door, until the time I put the keys in your hand. So it's a lot of process in between that. We start from the ground. It's going to be about 4 to 6 months. It just depends on the community, the product, because D.R. Horton, again, we have several different products. And we have the mortgage, title, credit assistance. You'll find that out as well, too. And then we also have our own development company now, so we can develop. And I usually say it like this, but my managers may say, hey, Barbara, don't say that no more. But we're kind of like Costco's and Sam's to food. That's what we are to homes, because we have a home from the first lifestyle all the way up to the ending lifestyle. And in between that whole process, realtors usually typically should come in and check on the process and see, make sure the buyer's okay. I'm going to update them because I'm there and I have to, and I want to make sure that they're taken care of. And any questions or anything they may have, come to me, call me, text me. And I'll tell them I'm out of the office 2 days, but I'm never off. So from beginning, it's the time they walk in the door with me until the time I put the keys in their hand. And there's a lot of process in the middle of that. One analogy that I usually like to use, most women have had children. Well, you have those morning sickness, you're going to go through that. You're going to have those pains, you're going to go through that.
Girl. Yeah. We have a couple of those right now.
But when you get that baby in your hand, you're going to forget about all of that stuff that happened. I always tell people, nothing is a perfect process. It is a process that if we have to define it, we have to rearrange it, we do that. But in the end, we're going to make sure that they're satisfied and taken care of.
She uses that analogy. Let me tell you the one I use. Yeah. I use the one, we're going through an engagement. I'm going to meet you. We're going to pair up, see if we like each other. And if we do, we're going to find your home. Then once we're engaged, once you close on your home, your marriage is yours. I'm simple. But here's the difference for me and any other realtor. If I see you and you tell me what you want, I know which house is yours. Whether it's a new build or it's a pre-existing home.
Because you've just been doing it for so long. Like you can...
It's that, but it's also when you know someone and you ask them and you really listen, because this is about listening to what you have to hear what they're saying. You have to hear it.
Yeah.
I'm going to use my assistant as an example. When she first called me, she wasn't my assistant, but she called me and she said, I want to leave where I'm at. I want to build a better life for my kids, and this is what we want. I looked at houses, and she thought she knew what she wanted. I took her to see what she wanted. You know why I took her? Because she wanted the house for the exterior. You know, we talked about the internal and the exterior. It's the same for a pre-existing home. She looked at the exterior, how pretty it was, but she didn't really look at the photos completely. She just kind of probably did this, skim through them. And my job is to really look at what she's telling me. She saw the next pretty shiny thing, the outside. The interior of the house, the walls had been cut because there had been water damage, so there were no walls around from the halfway throughout the whole house. And I told her about it. She said, no, I don't need to see it. I said, I want you to see it because this is what you told me you wanted.
Right.
This is what you told me you wanted. She went to go see it. And she's like, man, blah, 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 she's kind of dramatic that way. So I did that. And then she left. She had her twins with, she only had the little one in a carrier, and her mom and dad. And we walked in there. She's like, no. And I said, okay, but I want you to see what this is. I said, tell me what you really want. And she told me, I said, but this is not just about you. This is about your husband also. I said, men usually ask for a big yard and a garage. women ask for a big kitchen
And closet.
and closet space. Yes. And if it has double sinks in the vanity. I've been doing this long enough to know. So once she told me what she wanted, she said, oh, and I want this other, this. I said, okay, we're dating. We got to bring y'all together. Because you and your husband are like, girl, over here. But we got to bring y'all together. So when I spoke to him, he said, oh, she can pick the house. But this is what I want. I have to have enough for parking, enough to put my vans in. And she wanted, it's your first home. You're going to think big. But I had to educate her and let her know this is your first one of many. I told her, this is your first of many. And she's like, no, this will be my forever. I said, this is your first of many. She got that house. We went and looked. She brought her sister-in-law with her because, her sister-in-law is like, well, I don't know this woman. I don't want anybody taking advantage of you. And I'm like, I'm not here to take advantage of anyone. But there are realtors out there, and you can attest to that
Absolutely.
all they're looking for is the next paycheck.
Yep.
But when you have enough business, that paycheck shouldn't matter. It's about helping a family. Mm-hmm. It's so she came in. They looked at all these houses, and usually I mark which house I think is your house. Well, I know it is because there's two people here that can attest that I've done that for them. And one of the things that we left, and she said, I like this one. I said, do you like it or do you love it? Because if you like it, it's like chewing gum. Mm-hmm. You're going to get bored and you're not going to want it, but you're going to live here. And she said she loved it. They closed on the house. And I always show them because I write it down on my MLS sheet. I put a little star by the one So it's getting to know your client, listening. I heard what she said. She wanted to get out of Oak Cliff. She wanted to give her children a better life. And, when I said multiple, she sold that house and now she's in another house. And that house, I told her, I knew that was her house. And there's
the key is listening because and the key that I love about Janie and a lot of the other experienced realtors, and you'll get to know that as well too, is that piece what she just said, listening. Because when she can't find a pre-existing home and she come to me and say, and I'm like, okay, what does your buyer want? What I'm going through my inventory in the back of my brain because I know mine backwards and forward. Mm-hmm. Okay, I have this, and this that might fit what they're looking for. And then we bring it together and they come out and they take a look. Okay, and I always want to show a buyer more than one option. Mm-hmm. You don't want to show them 50, but you want to do at least more than one option so that way they don't look like they're being talked into the first thing that they see. Mm-hmm. So you have to make sure that you're being diversified that way with them. Mm-hmm. And I'm going to go through my catalog, and now that D.R. Horton has allowed us, I can sell in more than one city. Mm-hmm. I can go through that inventory as well and say, okay, this may better fit them, but we have to make sure that the distance is going to work for them.
Right.
So, yeah. So when you bring them to me or we talk on the phone and we talk about it, I'm already, like I said, going through my catalog, figuring out, just like Jane did, she already know. I already kind of know what house is going to fit for that buyer. And I take buyers into a home. And then when they go in the one that I already feel like this is going to be theirs, and I said, well, I'm just waiting on you to tell me this was the one.
Mm-hmm. So and we've done that. We did that.
It's a partnership, and
yes.
You have to. And because when you talking to me and you're telling me, and I know what my inventory is, and I know what I got where, and if I don't know it, I'm like this. I have that Macy's concept. I'm gonna find it. Okay.
She has that, and I think one of the beautiful things about a builder, is that they have incentives. They're going to offer incentives to the buyer, whether it's rate, whether it's concessions to give them pay, because they are a one-stop shop. They're going to offer paying their closing costs. They're going to offer maybe a refrigerator, a washer, dryer, blinds, gutter. It depends what
promotion.
What promotional item they have that. I call it a sale because for me, it's a sale.
Right.
And I'm going to go, if my client tells me I want this price house, well, I know that if they buy a pre-existing with the interest rates that are right now, they're not going to be able to afford that price. But if I take them to a new build because their rates are a lot lower, guess what? They're going to be able to afford more house than they thought
Absolutely.
because of the interest rate.
I have a question. So, like, as a builder, let's say a couple goes in the house on their own because they just want to look at houses. Do you prefer a realtor? Do you prefer that they come in with the realtor, or do you just go ahead and just take, do you call Jenny and be like, hey, I have a couple here that, they came in alone. They're just looking. They don't have a realtor. Like, how does that work?
Okay. So unfortunately, that's not how it works.
Right.
So D.R. Horton has already paid to get buyers into a community. So we've already did that marketing. And we market, realtors are our marketing big dollar. So we pay you to bring customers to us. So if a customer's already walked in the door, they do not have a realtor, the first question that I'm going to ask is, do you have a realtor? And if you do, then yes, I need to make sure that I know that you're represented by a realtor. But I won't say, okay, well, I need to give you a realtor because that's literally, being honest with you, taking money out of our pocket.
That's what I was going to say. You're
And
taking money out
when
of
we
there.
do that, we actually take money out of our pocket so that we can. But again, we use you guys. You guys are our marketing dollars, and so we pay you to bring customers to us. So now we do have several different programs within D.R. Horton. If a buyer walks in, that buyer has a home to sell and they're not represented by a realtor, we have a program that we do because we partner with other companies to help us to make sure that we can get that buyer the best price and the best savings that we can get for them.
So I'm just playing devil's advocate
Okay.
because I've experienced this too with a friend of mine who was looking to purchase a home, and so because she has what is it when the veterans have the VA loan? So she has a VA loan, so she didn't think that she needed a realtor to go represent her when she went and purchased a home in the builder from a builder. And I told her, I was like, why would you do that? Because even if they can give you, just because they walk in and they're ready, you don't necessarily have to tell them all your incentives, right? Or do you?
No, she does.
So what we have to do is, if we're advertising something and it's legal, we have to. But now, oftentimes we may have a different set of packages. So I customize and do an a la carte and make sure that the customer gets what they need out of what I have and what I can give them. So, but yes, we do, because it's legal. It's a document that we provide that has that on there. So I have to reveal to every customer whatever that incentive is. We do reveal it.
And this is what you do as a realtor. Let's say Kayla's your client, and you don't know if she's going to go rogue on you, because some of our clients do go rogue. You, as a realtor, have them sign a buyer's rep agreement. And if they go to a builder, you have something showing that you have a buyer's rep agreement. And somebody has to pay you, either the builder or the buyer, because that buyer's rep agreement says that if the seller doesn't pay you, they're going to pay you.
Right.
I have a question. If I have a client and they are a first-time home buyer and they don't really know, like they're kind of like, I don't know, maybe new build, maybe not. What are the pros and cons of a new build versus pre-owned home?
Me? No, I'm just kidding.
Barbara. Well, I know the incentives.
Well,
is
no.
one.
So think about it, for yourself.
Yeah.
Would you, and it's gonna depend on their buying power as well. Okay. What is your buying power? Have you owned a home before? Is this your first time? Or you're a single mom? I mean, what is your circumstances? So I have to look at, if a buyer comes in and says, well, Ms. Barbara, I don't know if I can afford it. Well, let's see what we can do. And then that's what I'm able to look at that buyer and say, hey, here's where you are in your buying power. Now, at that point, they've already walked into my office, right, without a realtor. So Barbara is going to do what she needs to do for that buyer based off of what I have available. Again, not to say, okay, you need to be represented by a realtor. You have to be represented by a realtor. That's not what we do. We don't have to do that. But a buyer always asks, do you have a realtor? if I ask them if they want a realtor, then they have to do that. I
You'll
can't.
give them my name.
I can't.
You can't do
I
that.
can't do that.
I can't do
No.
that. I can't pick up the phone and say, "Hey, Janie, I got a buyer in here," and says it's kind of like
Oh,
the
is
question
that
that should
illegal?
be. It's not illegal, but again, it's like I'm stealing from my company
Right.
because I'm paying you
It's not
for you
ethical,
didn't
yeah.
procure the sale. You didn't bring the buyer to me.
right.
And one of the other,
That's our job to bring them
Yes.
the buyer.
Right.
and I'm going to piggyback to what she said. The way you're going to find out which is best for your client
Yeah.
is an HOA. You know, the homeowners association is going to be automatic in a new build.
Yeah.
So you're going to have to find out if they want an HOA or they don't want an HOA. And if they don't, then you will take them to pre-existing, and you have to find on MLS the no HOA information that, you know, you click the little button with HOA. But that's super important because that's how you're going to know. But a lot of it is whether it's a new build or a pre-existing. What I love about new builds, they have a 1, 2, and 10 warranty. And I'll let Barbara, are you able to talk about? Okay, so I'll let her
Absolutely.
go into that. But on the pre-existing, we can have the seller purchase a 1-year home warranty, and the buyer can renew it. Man, I love my home warranty. My home warranty probably doesn't love me, but I love them. I have a new washer. I have a microwave. I have a water heater, 2 outside HVAC units, and a furnace through my home warranty.
Wow.
I bought this house in 2015. So, Barbara, you and I've been committed to you and my house this long. But
Gotcha.
those are the things that you're going to learn. And the more you go out there and the more you talk to your buyers and all that, like I love to have home buyer seminars because this is what I do. This is my passion, to educate. I want to educate you. Like I told my assistant, by the time you're done purchasing your home, you're going to know how to buy a house, and you're going to be able to go and tell someone the steps to purchase a home. But Barbara talked about the 1, 2, and 10.
So before we talk a little bit about the warranty, I want to let you know too that I take pride in you because you're going to be my partner. So if you're brand new, I always offer this service to a realtor that has just come into the business. Come to my office one day and let's sit and let's chat and let's talk and let me educate you on D.R. Horton. Now I can only tell you about D.R. Horton because I'm a D.R. Horton fan, right? So
You've been a fan for how long?
only 17 years.
Oh, wow.
Only 17 years. We'll be 18 in May. But having said that, that's where we begin to get the bond. And if you need to know about D.R. Horton, I can tell you about D.R. Horton so you will know. Now, other builders, you'll have to go to them to be able to do that. But so new builds on warranty, you're going to have a warranty coming in, walking in the door. 1 year is going to be your interior content, your appliances, floors, things like that. 2 years is going to be your electricals and your plumbing, things behind the walls, things you can't see. 10 years is going to be foundation. And then you're going to either have a 25 or a 30-year shingle warranty. Now, up under
That
that,
comes with all D.R. Horton homes.
all D.R. Horton
Okay.
homes. Let me take that back. And it depends on the community as far as the
Okay.
shingles are concerned.
Okay.
The least is going to be 20 years. So we got 20, 25, and 30.
Okay.
Most of them are between 25 and 30. Okay. And then up under the shingle, you have other things and other stuff under there. The structural part, you have. We warranty windows, doors. We warranty all of that, but these are the ones that we mainly tell you about because it's the same throughout the communities pretty much.
Okay.
So I may use a different window builder. My other community may use a different window builder, vendor, I'm sorry. So that may be a different warranty.
Okay.
But D.R. Horton has its own warranty department. When your customer go online and do a warranty ticket, it's going to D.R. Horton, not to RWC, which is the residential warranty company. Because we built the house, we know it. We're going to go out and assess it and make sure that it is a warranty item.
Okay.
And that's
That
the
makes
one
sense.
thing that I absolutely love about our company. And so with that being said, pre-existing home depends on how old it is. You don't have that.
Right.
Right.
You have to buy it outside of that, which is another expense for your customer.
Right.
So
Which for first-time home buyers can be expensive because
Very.
you've already saved for the down payment. Now you got to have another
Well,
cushion.
but here's the
for
thing.
it.
I'm going to wrap it up with, on that note, if your realtor knows what they're doing and has been educated, they're going to secure that for the buyer from the seller.
Okay.
Okay, so that's something that we get from the seller. We're going to ask the seller, you want to sell your house? This is what my buyer needs. This is where your negotiating skills come in. How good are you going to be in negotiating? You know, that you have to know your worth. You have to know where you're at. But this, thank you, Barbara. Thank you. See, I made it easy for you.
you're welcome.
Kayla, I hope this
Absolutely.
has helped you as a brand new agent. Brand new. So I know you're going to go sell a lot of homes and you're going to use Barbara if
Absolutely.
you need to.
Do your thing.
Yeah, she can do like Midlothian, like,
Grand Prairie, Arlington, Mansfield, all of those. Then Cleburne, Crowley,
Yeah.
White Settlement, Granbury. So
Right.
we have a plethora of cities that
And-
I can work with. You know.
and in closing, what she can do for you is if there's another community, she can take you out there if there are homes during her off days. You know, and I've learned so much. The more you are around them, the more you get to know this. So, ladies, I really thank you. I hope this has been informative for you
was.
too.
Very, very.
And if you're out there wanting to purchase a home, you can decide whether it's a pre-existing home or if it's going to be a new build. And Barbara Ann can help you. Barbara Ann. But girl, get up again and get your house. 2026 is the year to rise up and build. So we're here to assist with anything that we can. It doesn't just have to be houses. So let us know. Stay tuned for the next episode because we're out.